everybody, and welcome to the Congress House in Zurich, Switzerland for the FIFA Ballon d'Or press talks. And welcome as well to everyone who's following this online at FIFA.com or through FIFA's YouTube channel. My name is James Richardson. Together with my colleague Jackie Oatley, I'm going to be hosting this part of today's events. It is a very special day. It's one of the most important days in the footballing calendar as FIFA and the Amari Group come together, the publishers, of course, of France Football, join together to celebrate the outstanding coaches and players of both men's and women's football for a time period between November 2014 and October 2015, just last year. We're going to be recognizing the achievements of these coaches and players, and what's really important about these awards is that they've been arrived on by a vote by 3 separate groups of experts: national team coaches, national team captains, and also selected journalists from around the world. Now, before the winners are announced in tonight's FIFA Ballon d'Or Gala, we're going to get the chance to meet some of the nominees here this afternoon, and we're going to begin with the FIFA Women's Football Coach of the Year. So let's start by seeing the achievements of the nominees.
Nominees for FIFA World Coach of the Year for Women's Football. Jill Ellis, Coach of USA. Mark Sampson, Coach of England. Norio SASAKI, Coach of Japan. One of these will be named the FIFA World Coach of the Year for Women's Football 2015.
Indeed they will, and it's my very great pleasure to welcome now on stage in strict alphabetical order, first of all, the coach of World Champions USA, Jill Ellis. Hi Jill, we'd like to say let's see that. Congratulations. Mark Sampson, whose England team had their greatest World Cup success since 1966, 49 years ago, getting all the way to the 3rd place in the tournament. Cheers. Congratulations, Mark. And finally, Norio SASAKI, finalist once again with Japan at the Women's World Cup 2015. Excellent. We're going to have a couple of questions, then we're going to be throwing it open to yourselves there here in the auditorium. And Jill, if we could start with you. It was an extraordinary year. The World Cup triumph, but then after that, ticker tape parades in New York, meeting with President Obama, just a whirlwind of events. How much of it actually seems real now?
I mean, you've kind of already moved on in terms of your coaching, but yeah, it was a phenomenal, obviously the tournament itself and then all the afterthrows of the success. You know, it's unbelievable. I mean, surreal in a way, but you know, I've looked back at some pictures and it was pretty fun, but already I've shifted my focus.
What has been the outstanding moment, do you think, of all of those things?
I mean, aside from obviously lifting the trophy, I think the ticker tape parade in New York was crazy. It was like mind-blowing. It's something I've never really experienced it. You've seen it on TV, but to actually, it was tremendous. Huge honor.
Absolutely amazing. Mark Sampson, your first tournament, and it went unbelievably well. A disappointing end to the semi-final, but still an extraordinary success for the England team. The hard work is done. Now you're here up on the stage as one of the nominees. How much fun are you having?
A lot of fun. You know, it's a fantastically cool experience to be here around some fantastic coaches and players across both games, the male and the female. And I think 2 or 3 years ago, if someone had said you'd be here in front of this many people involved in this event, I'd have laughed them out of the room. So it's a wonderful experience, and of course I think we all owe a huge credit to our teams and our players and our staff who've worked so hard to give us the opportunity to be at this event.
Very fine answer. Norio SASAKI, you won this already in 2012. How much did that mean for women's football, for yourself and for women's football in Japan? And what's it like to be back here again today?
そうですね。もう本当に
Well,
2011年
so
アメリカと素晴ら
2011,
しいチームと
so we met America and then we played a fantastic match and we won that. So the women's football in Japan has been revolutionized afterward, and for us, it really gave us the courage and hope. And then Sawa was awarded the Ballon d'Or, and then and we were awarded some awards and prizes. So that year gave us real sort of impetus for us going forward.
Magnificent. This time the final didn't go so well for Japan, thanks to the efforts of your USA team. Joe, if we could just go back to that final, it's one of the most amazing 15 minutes of football that we saw anywhere that year, and for a good many years. What was it like being on the bench, finding yourselves 4-0 up and the game had only just started?
Yeah, I mean, talk about surreal. I mean, it was a remarkable start, but I think as coaches we all know that nothing's set until the final whistle blows. So, in terms of going to the locker room at halftime, it was, that was great, but we haven't done anything yet. So it was kind of refocusing, but I mean, certainly the players came out incredibly ready and focused, and just a dream start really. But it wasn't, I think, till the 89th minute, 59th second that I was like, okay, we got this, but because Japan is such a formidable opponent.
Mark, you've been through, Jill's been through various tournaments before, but this was your first tournament with England, and it's a huge thing to take on from scratch a World Cup, particularly with the highs and lows that you went through, beating Germany, but then losing the semi-final in that heartbreaking fashion at the last minute. What's the outstanding thing that you learned from that World Cup?
Well, first and foremost, it's such a magical experience to be part of an event like that, and you can't get a feel for it until you're actually there. People talk to you about what a wonderful event is and how much the pressure is and how much fun you'll have, but until you actually get there, you're not really ready to experience it, and it was certainly a wonderful experience, and when I look back now, it will be one that I'll remember forever really, and sports give you that opportunity to make real special memories for life, and I was fortunate that I was working with a great group of people who made that experience even more special, and the lessons you'll take forward, you hope, will give you a better chance next time that I've been here before, and actually that was a wrong answer that time, so we'll go in this direction. But fortunately for us, we got more right than we got wrong.
Right. Norio, the final didn't go well for Japan, but you were still finalists again, as you were finalists in the previous World Cup, as you were finalists at the Olympic final. How is it that Japan, despite the fact that you don't produce the same number of footballers, is able to consistently be at the very highest level?
いや本当にはっきり言って
To be honest with you, the team, America, has been really teaching us and learning. We are learning from them. In 2011, it was a dream. It was a dream match for us. And in 2015, for me, it was dreamlike. It was a dream come true match. But it was within the first 26 minutes, we lost 4 points. But in the latter half, we gained 2 points. And then that will serve as a good motivation going forward toward the Olympics in Rio.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we'd like to invite some questions now from the media here in the hall. We have a couple of microphones on either side of the auditorium. So if you could just wait for the microphone to arrive to you and then state your name and the organization that you're from, and one question per journalist, if that's possible. Let's see, we have...
In English? Hello, question for Jill Ellis, Siani Dalma from L'Equipe. I would like to know what this prize, this trophy represents for you.
Well, I think you sort of, as Mark alluded to, this to me is symbolic of a team effort. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of effort that would go into, anyone taking this home. So I think part of me would be acknowledging all the efforts and dedication that my staff and my players have given to this. And so I think it's just more of a symbol of our program and obviously the successes we've had this past summer. And I say this regularly, I'm so blessed to be able to work with these players and so fortunate to have such an amazing staff. So it would certainly be the culmination of a team effort.
Do we have another question from the media? Gentleman over there.
Hola, soy Luis Martín del Diario El País. Quería preguntarles a cualquiera de los tres cómo ven el fútbol femenino en África. Si creen que va a tener una irrupción importante en los próximos años o si creen que necesita ayuda para su desarrollo. Gracias.
Who would you like to answer that question? Okay. Would anyone like to field that question?
I don't mind starting. I think we saw the tournament and a vastly improved performance from some of the African nations, and Jill will know that Nigeria were a team who were very difficult to play against and some exceptionally talented players, and there's clearly a lot of work going on in those nations to improve the game and grow it both domestically and internationally, and that's what we need. We need a more competitive World Cup. We need tournaments where the teams can go into there and the majority of teams who enter have a realistic opportunity of going a long way, and the African nations are certainly doing a lot of work to develop their game, and we're starting to see that now with some of the nations starting to make the latter stages and knockout stages of the World Cup and giving some of the top teams some real tough games.
Who's next with a question from the floor? Well, in the meantime, Mark, can I ask you, you were managing in the men's game before coming into the women's game. Which side of the fence do you now fall on?
The football side. Certainly it's a different experience working with males and working with females, but when it does come down to it, you're still working with people and you're working within football, and certainly working with male players or working with female players, you get the same frustrations as every coach does. You get the players who are a pain in the backside you've got to deal with, and the players who are the model professionals who are a joy to work with, and all that experience just adds up to when you've got to make the big decisions prior to a match day or decide what type of training you're going to work on or how you're going to work with a player. Those experiences are important to get the decisions right, because as a manager, that's what you're purely judged on, how many you get right compared to how many you get wrong.
Excellent, thank you. Any questions from the floor?
excited, and we've got a new group. We've got a lot of new players. We have players retire, and so I think it's really exciting times for our program in terms of development.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Mark, the Euros would be the next challenge for you, is that right? And congratulations today on the 2-year extension that you've just been given from the FA. How hard, you had the victory in the third, fourth playoff, but how hard was it picking the team up after what happened at the end of the semi-final with Japan, the last-minute own goal?
Yeah, it was difficult. We obviously no one wants to go out of the tournament, and especially in the manner that the team did go out in that tournament. It was an excellent game on the day between two very good teams, and credit to Japan who won the match and went on to the final. And for us, the challenge then was the third and fourth game, and it was difficult because you only had a 2-day turnaround. Normally you're in with 3, but the 2 days is tough, to recover from that game physically, and then for us in the main emotionally, and try and prepare for a game against a fantastic Germany team was very difficult. But the group culture shone through in those 2 days. The work that had gone on over the previous 12 months to develop the mindset and the team spirit and our ways of working, really made sure that when we lost that game, we could quickly refocus and make sure we were ready for what was going to be a massive challenge for us. Because let's not forget, as you mentioned at the start, it was a unique opportunity. There was an England team who, under Bobby Robson in 1990, got to a semi-final and finished 4th. And obviously the great boys of 1966 who went all the way and won it. So there was a unique opportunity for us to achieve something that only one England team had done in the past. So that was our motivation, to create a tiny bit of history and to end a good tournament for us with a victory. And as a footballer, it would have been very tough for us all to take, having had such a good tournament, coming home with 2 defeats in a row. So motivation was high, and on that day the players were incredible. I mean, where they found the energy to run around for 120 minutes, I haven't got a clue, but they did. They dug out the result, and it'll be a result that'll be remembered for a long time in English football history.
Magnificent. And Norio, finally then, as you look back on 2015, what has been your proudest achievement as a coach?
Since 2011, England and the United States and all the countries in the world have developed their standard really higher. And our team members, smaller girls in the world, our team, they concentrated on their uniqueness, their strengths, and they had, and more than anything else, they had belief in themselves, and they made progress, and I'm very proud of that. And we will continue to strive in our endeavor in that direction.
Okay, many, many thanks. Well, that brings us to an end, the first of our press talks with the nominees here. We'll be seeing you again at 5 o'clock on the red carpet, and then, of course, the gala from 6:15. Best of luck to you all with the events that will be taking place very, very shortly. My colleague Jackie Oatley will be here very soon to announce the nominees for the FIFA Women's World Player of the Year. So that'll be on at 2:45. For now, though, it's congratulations on your nomination. And many thanks.
Cheers, James.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much.